To whatever we want to call it.
The podcast.
Whisper chats. Whispercast. Whatever. I'm Tommy Weber.
I'm Chris Collins.
And we just wanted to bring you this video to kind of... We made some waves, a little bit, I guess. And enough people are kind of paying attention. We think it's
time to introduce ourselves.
It's time to introduce ourselves and kind of try to hopefully bring the community together. So I'll tell you about myself a little bit. Chris will tell you about himself. My name's Tommy Weber. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I grew up in Burlington. Been through a lot of ups and downs in my life. I've been to the very, very bottom. I've had to rebuild multiple times in my life. My life today is really good. I've been clean, sober, out of trouble for almost 10 years, not quite 10 years yet, 2016. And yeah, life's good now. I moved here 3 or 4 years ago. I moved here to Butler, Falmouth area. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. So I'll let Chris introduce himself a little bit, and then we'll kind of go into what brought us to even introducing ourselves, or why any of you even know my name, or why we're here.
I'm Chris Collins. I grew up in Morningview. Have also picked myself up from the bottom several times. And life's good now. I'm rebuilding and feeling a lot better, losing a lot of weight, those kind of things. I'm a writer, and I also work as a web developer.
We want to do this podcast just so that hopefully we can bring a bigger voice for our community for multiple different reasons. But let me tell you how I got to know this fine community of Falmouth. So growing up, I grew up in Burlington, only heard about Falmouth, hadn't been out here ever until, the last decade probably. And all I ever heard about Falmouth was you guys had a rehab and there was drugs. That's it. That's all I ever heard about Falmouth. Never had an interest to go there. Never knew anybody that lived there. Didn't know. That's just all I know about it. Ended up buying a house down here and just mind my business. I live a good life now. I enjoy my life. As some of you guys can see, I'm kind of vocal sometimes. If I see something, I'm kind of like, hey, I kind of call it out. And it's real simple, man. Like, I asked about the water. Like, it's so crazy down here. All I did was ask about the water. Like, and I got so much hatred for it from people in this community. But I got, like, 3 times as much love for it. People come to me and tell me, like, oh, man, you don't know what you're getting into with this community. They're corrupt. And I posted test results of my water, and people lost their shit. And I've never seen nothing like it. So anyway, I was it was enough people calling me or messaging me, getting a hold of me, that I just felt it was my duty at that point to look into it. A lot of people in the city, a lot of people that worked around the city, a lot of people that know people in the city started reaching out to me. Started offering me, basically to open their books and show me what they see, what they feel is wrong with it, what they feel should be done differently, and they just started showing me this stuff. And I didn't understand then that the reason they were showing me behind the closed doors and not saying anything about it is because there's some real tyrannical stuff going down there. People are afraid of their local government, and that's that blows my mind that the local government anywhere puts fear into their law-abiding citizens that are the ones that vote for and pay for those people. And it's not, it's high and low. I mean, there's people that are going really tough in life right now that feel threatened by the cops. And there are people in this community that are doing really well, that are feel threatened and even intimidated by the local government. So one thing led to another. It started with the water. It just snowballed. It went to the flood. The flood really got my attention. And then I started looking into the past, which is the 97 flood and what was offered and what was, what was done, what wasn't done, what was ignored, who kind of benefited at the end of it, like when nobody else really did except, the names you think did. And it's just wild. So, I never met Chris. I don't know anybody in Falmouth except the ones that I met now, but this whole thing kind of started and I got a bunch of people's attention, and this guy kind of, we crossed paths.
At the same time that he was going through all of that, I lived in Falmouth for 10 years. When the Whisper was born, I hadn't moved. I actually was still there for another year. But I didn't start posting until I was ready to. And Falmouth has always impressed me as a town that has so much potential that is underused because it's set with stagnancy in its local government. And it's been that way for too long at this point. And there's been, I have complaints and I have praises of many different things in Falmouth. Within 10 years you have an experience that you can, good body of experience that shapes your opinions. What it boils down to is it doesn't live up to its potential. And I think one of those reasons is the stagnancy, but it is also because the abuse of certain officials. And that started a lot of interest. And there were some catalysts. I think what actually brought Tommy and I together, the very first conversation we had was because a sheep was being held hostage by the police. You can't make this stuff up. Then it became he told me about the water. I told him about a bunch of stuff I knew. We started talking, and I think shortly after that I started writing. Or it might have been that I wrote a first couple articles, but I hadn't really dug into a lot yet.
It wasn't even like I had to dig deep to find anything in this city. Like,
no, it's like a scratch
so,
sniff.
Yeah, they're so comfortable they don't even hide nothing. There's nothing hidden.
You can literally walk in a room and blow off the dust.
So what I was getting from people, and this is, I was getting this a lot during the flood when I was helping out with that. And it was like the same story, the same emotion from people that are my age and people, the generation behind me. They, it's like they've been told their whole life they are nothing. They will never be nothing. They're not going to do nothing. They're drug addicts. Their parents are drug addicts. You're worthless. You're nothing. You're never going to, and it's the same story all over town, and it just really got my attention. So then I started asking more questions, and it's sad. It's a beautiful city. Falmouth is beautiful. There are really great people in Falmouth. People with big hearts. People with, very generous. You've got, that literally, if somebody needs something in Falmouth, they get it.
That is true.
It's a beautiful community. But then you get into, okay, well, yeah, this is a beautiful city, and it's not just me, because I've crossed paths now with several dozen people probably that came here, and they've seen the community, and they're like, oh man, this is great. These people, they just need a good community. They need good people to come in and help. And you start getting in there, and you start trying to shake hands with people, and hey, how can I help? What are we doing here? And it's not very long into that journey that you realize they don't want your help. They don't, like, those people at City Hall and any of the any of those, and they don't want you there. They don't want you to help because they don't need it. They got exactly what they want. They've got, basically they rule a city and do what they want. And I'm like it's like 2,200 people.
26.
Like, that ain't, that, what? What are you talking about? I mean, it's
actually 26.
like everybody's right there. I'm like, so why aren't people standing up? Why aren't they out here doing it? And then I start seeing that because everything's done behind closed doors. And then I start seeing it's actually done in the backyard of their neighbors. They live right next door to each other, all on one street. And then
that's because wild. They've been taught that the voices that give voice to anything that's in opposition are usually dealt with somehow. It could be by blackballing, or it could be by prejudice, or it could also be by them banning against somebody and impeaching them and then arresting them when they were invited to a council meeting. They will not stop at anything to maintain the power hold that's really not doing anything. May give them a little bit of power, but what is a stagnant town going to do? If we'd fix the infrastructure in Falmouth, we could get more industry in there. We could get people in there that would actually do commerce, and people would want to stay more often. You fix the variety of issues this town has, and it will flare and make money like numerous amount of towns do. But we're not going to do it.
It just doesn't make sense. And like, let me say this, and I'll be clear on this, and people will hear me say it multiple times. I don't have any enemies that I know of. Like, there might be some people that hate me, but if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. So that doesn't bother me. So I don't hate anybody that's down there that's holding position. I'm not targeting, I didn't set, you gotta understand, I didn't even know nobody down there. I still don't know most people down there. I don't know a lot of people. This isn't where I'm from. I've met, I've put myself out there. So I'm not targeting anybody. It wasn't like I came down here or like I had this vindictive way about me to just I'm gonna go after so and so, or I'm gonna go after this person, that person. No, I literally, genuinely, with concern, started asking questions, started shaking hands, started meeting people, started taking people up on their offers to see around different things and what they do and how it operates, and it helped me understand a lot of the inner workings of the city. It helped me out with a lot of that.
I think what it is that you can walk in any area of this town, blow off a little dust, and see where the corruption is, or where the stagnation is, or where
they just come to you. I literally was just asking questions about stuff. Like, what's going on? What's the deal? Why is this going on like that? Like, why isn't this happening? And it just got
I think to this date, the Whisper inbox has had 220 messages in a small town since April 25th, I think it was.
Well, it's just all I had to do. All you have to do is come down here and breathe in the wrong office, and all of a sudden, you uncover corruption. You just lift a piece of paper and you uncover it. And then not only that, it's wild because I guess they've never been uncovered. Cockroaches.
Sometimes it's
you uncover them and they scurry. They know to get out the way. But these, you just you lift it up, and then they start trying to talk to you and run their mouth and say stuff, and they prove their point.
Sometimes it's not just outright corruption. Sometimes it's also incompetence.
I mean, it's great to put yourself in new situations. You got to learn. Your uncomfortable situations. You got to learn and stuff like that. And it's awesome to take a position that's going to challenge you and make you a better person. But there's certain positions that aren't. You need to be polished before you get that. You need the experience. You need to know what you're doing. You can't just walk in and challenge yourself when you've got a town of 2,000 people that are dependent on your decision making.
Yeah, and you also have to color in the lines. You can't be breaking a lot of rules.
Like you got to, yeah. So anyway, so this podcast, that's what we're doing. We're just gonna sit here and we're gonna talk. We're gonna take people's questions. We're gonna bring it up. We're gonna we'll have a better setup. This is the first one. Like I said, it's kind of a pilot. We're going to invite people to come on and talk with us, and maybe it'll just be phone calls or whatever it is. And understand this: I'm not out. I'm not out here to necessarily bash anybody or to like. I'm looking for
great people.
I'm looking for like I just want honest answers. Like I want transparency for our community. Like that's it. It's not that hard. I don't understand why it's that hard, but I just want people to come on, and when we ask a question, we're not going to bamboozle anybody or ask one-sided questions or nothing else. I genuinely want to know. I've talked to many officials down there through text message, through messenger, through face to face. I mean that we talk. I'll talk to people. I'm not opinionated. I understand people fail. I understand sometimes people bite off more than they can chew. I understand that a lot of times in life, you just need somebody to help you confirm that you're doing the right thing, and that's cool. But when you try to put yourself in a spot, and I'll let him talk and I say, when you try to put yourself in a spot that you got to make really big decisions, and you're not wanting to listen to the people that are trying to tell you what the actual issues are, then you're never going to solve nothing. You're just running in circles. You're just wasting time. You're trying to learn something on somebody else's dime, and that's not what it is.
Well, and I started this with no bias either. I mean, the bias, if there's any, came from when I started researching and I started seeing things, the big picture, what was going on, when I actually was followed through on, what was committed, what was done by different people. That's how I got started. So I never have attacked anybody out of a personal vendetta. I've never reported on anything I'm just reporting the facts or whispers that I get, that I verify from multiple people. There is a messed up element to a beautiful place. And if you fix what's messed up, things will get better.
The leadership is what's messed up. I mean, that's what it's the leadership. I mean, there's no question about it. It's leadership.
Well,
and listen, like I don't, I don't care who sits in what seat as long as they're running that seat the right way.
I think we're nearly a year away from the election.
Oh yeah,
we're a year away. We have a year to pick the right people
for this community, for the future of our community.
And that doesn't come from my opinion, his opinion. It comes from everyone's opinion.
Yeah, because it's not.
We want the discussion. We don't want necessarily to be the right ones. We want everybody to come about their own decision with all the facts.
I mean, like I don't, and me and Chris are we've got difference of opinions on some things. Like, and it's good. You're always supposed to have difference of opinion with people. I mean, that's how you grow. That's where growth comes from. But like I don't hate any of these elected officials or anybody else because they suck at their job or they made a bad decision like that. Like you suck. I think you suck at your job. Like I don't think you should have that position if you can't make those kind of decisions correctly. Especially in an age where you can literally just get on Facebook right now and ask your community, your constituents, hey, this is coming up. What do you guys want? And they can literally give you live feedback right there. And what your community wants because your position is held to represent your community.
Well, I think sometimes it's also a deer in the headlights situation. They see what they want to see, and they don't see the big picture. They're not seeing the impact. They're not seeing how tired people are. They're not seeing that most people don't have jobs within Falmouth that they could support a living on. They're not seeing that there's infrastructure that needs fixed. They're seeing a handbook that they want to read.
And it's even, I think there's some new young blood in Falmouth in some of these positions, but that had good intentions. And then they get in there and they just get overpowered. Like this is the way it is. And personally, I mean, I think most of them are plants there anyway. Again, this is all my opinion. Let me say that again. This is my opinion on everything, and it's the more we go, the more relaxed I'll get, and the more I think people will enjoy us just sitting around talking. But it's not like we're not out here to get nobody or nothing else. We're out here to try to make a better community. And if that means that us regular old dudes drinking coffee at whatever time it is tonight in my garage, like hanging out, just trying to talk to people and start building some more relationships and, you know, a stronger community, and you know, bringing people on there, hopefully giving people an outlet. Some of these people that are running for the upcoming election are wanting to throw their hat in. You know, hopefully they, you know, will want to have a phone call or something with us, and, you know, the people can ask direct with them. Talk to anybody, and anybody will tell you that. Anybody in this town that has talked to me will absolutely tell you I'll talk to you. I'm not a vindictive dude. I don't hold nothing against people. I don't hold grudges. I don't, like, it is what it is. Like, it's not, everybody has their own opinions, and
I don't hold a grudge against anybody. I just want change, and that's what I think we are concentrating most of our energies on now, is affecting that change by informing people. And once you have all the facts, pretty confident you'll make at least a comparable decision to what we have.
Yeah, it's not even, because it's not, like, I'm not even the type of guy that if the person that I voted for doesn't get voted in, that I hate the guy that got voted in and all their ideas are stupid or nothing like that. I understand that we're in America and everybody's got their opinions and their own input and what they feel should happen to make their community better, or what their community should be involved. You know, all that stuff I understand. And so when, you know, their electee wins a spot, that's just they're representing those people, and those people aren't my values. But I understand that. I live with that. I'm not, you know, it's not like I don't hate you for that. I'm not going to hate you for that. I don't hate anybody in that city that I've had a conversation with. I've told the ones that I think they should just go on and leave because they just don't fill the shoes. That's okay. It's okay to fail. It's all right to fail in life. Without failure, you're never going to grow. Like, you took on bigger shoes than what you could fill. You weren't ready for it. And that's multiple positions in that city. Multiple. Like, it's wild how that's ran.
The problem is this. You have a reward and punishment system running the government. And what I mean is anybody who speaks out gets a little bit of slant. And if they speak out enough, they may get their business blackballed, or they may get the property they own blackballed, or they may get just a certain sentiment that happens. And then you also have the people who are on, you know, their way of thinking that tend to get rewarded. And that's not how government's supposed to be. You know, this is why we got involved. We're seeing a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and we want to talk about it.
Yeah, we just want to talk about it, and like I said, we just want people to get educated about it. We want them to know that. I mean, I've literally freedom fought from coast to coast, literally from coast to coast, and it's like there's so many people out here that have so much to say, but won't say a word, nothing. And I mean, it just is what it is. But they need a voice. And they need an outlet.
Everyone needs a voice.
They need somewhere that they can go and express how they feel. They need somewhere to go where they don't feel like they're judged. People get intimidated. I've got broad shoulders, and I've been through a lot in life. There's not, I mean, it's just, so stuff doesn't affect me like it does other people. It doesn't bother me. I don't care if people call me out. I don't care if people like try to like talk bad about me or whatever else. My name is Tommy Weber. I'm easy to find. If you got a question, like I'll answer it. Like, let me know. I'll answer a question. If you don't believe me, then I don't. You know, I'm cool. You don't believe me. I mean, it's not. You're going to be able to. Anything that I say, for the most part, you can fairly easily find the receipts.
Same here.
I can get them for you. I mean, it's not. It's like we're not out here just trying to like we're talking stuff and just trying to.
Well, neither one of us tries to mask either. We tell you exactly who we are.
I'm wide open. I've shook these people's hands. I mean, some of them are friends with me on Facebook. it's crazy. I was on the wrong side of the law, the wrong side of life for my whole life, literally my whole life until 2016, and I'm not anymore. I never thought this life would be possible. It is, and now that I see how beautiful it is and how great everything can be in this life, you know, I just want to do my part because I took so much for so much of my life. I just constantly took from people, from the community, just from everything that I could take from anywhere. I just was a plaque on society, and now I'm not. I want to help and I want to give back, and now I'm starting to see, like, man, like there really is some really bad stuff. Like there are some really bad people out here that are just like keeping their foot on top of, you know, people's neck. Like if people truly understood how powerful community really is and how much you can do as a community, like if you truly understand that concept, Falmouth is like,
yeah, it's the only way that
picturesque. Like it is the absolute. I mean, you can't beat it. You got riverfront, nice riverfront. People kayaking and fishing. You got nice park. You got like a nice community. It's kind of tied off from everything. It's down in a hole, so it's not like all these big corporations going to come in and build these big Walmarts or Kroger. They might up on the hills outside of town, but they're not coming in the Falmouth. There's nowhere to do it in Falmouth. So they're not going to, you know what I mean? So, like, the town and the community, and people have to understand, like, I mean, the north is coming south, and the south is coming north. They're talking about putting these big memory stations or whatever they are in Maysville. And, I mean, how many people do you think that's going to break into the area? Like, now's the time to get this community solid and to, like, come together. And if the people aren't, you know, if you're not here to help the community as a whole, then, you know, it's time to just go and get out of the way. Like, this is a great place to be and to live, and it's time. And, you know, I've told people, man, I want to see everybody win. Like any of these people that are in any of these seats, any of these positions, you know, if they haven't done anything fraudulent or illegal or immoral while they've held office, maybe they've just kind of been swayed and just kind of not done their job very good, but they don't have like any, you know, they're not really a bad person. Like, show us you're good at it. Like, just step up.
Yeah, we give
like,
anybody
just,
a chance.
Like, we don't, it doesn't matter to I don't think anybody who's really in that seat, as long as that seat is being operated correctly. Like, that's all anybody wants.
It's almost like they get into a procedural control. It's like they come with big ideas that they're going to change things. They run on campaigns of transparency. They run on campaigns of this is what I've done in the past, and which, startingly, some of those are good achievements and some of them are just stagnant ones. But they run on those platforms. Not enough for people who are really paying attention. Oh, it doesn't, you know, I can't affect that change. You're going to get what you got. If you've got enough people involved, you may get something you want. But the delivery has to follow through, and it hasn't. You know, the transparency blurs because it has to work with the non-transparent.
It's favoritism. It's crazy. You know, I didn't even know the word nepotism. Swear to God I didn't. Swear. Not until I asked about the water. And somebody was like, it's nepotism. And I'm like, what is that? Listen, I'm not a college graduate. Not even none of that. Like, I'm not. Grew up way different than most people. But this is wild. And what really gets me is like I said, Falmouth is a great community. Butler's a great community. Good people in Butler. Good people in our community all the way around. But there's people, and I've met a lot of people in the community so far. And there's people that are business owners in the community, well known, some of the bigger businesses, that are great people. I mean, they help. all the time. I see them in places that I'm at, and some of the stuff that I'm doing, their names there, or they got a representative there, you know, doing this, picking up that. Great people. And even they are worried about speaking up or speaking out because they're afraid they'll lose their entire business.
Yeah.
Because it gets shut down. That's fact.
Yeah.
That's not just rumors.
So it's reverse nepotism in that case. Yeah.
Like and I'm like, man, this is wild, man. And look, I'm not the only one. There are many other people in this community that are new, that are transplants, as we're probably called, that are very professional people, that have very, very respectful, high responsibility jobs, that have contacted me and have just like,
Tommy, have I ever
I've
told you?
I've never seen nothing like this.
So in 10 years that I lived in Falmouth, do you know how many businesses I've seen open and start, and then have to close 6 months later, or even 3 months later, or even 8 months later, after all the investment, after all the time spent?
How about
Do you know why they have to close?
Because their family members tell them to.
To keep the blackball.
Yeah, you know how many times I've heard like people tell me that they're not allowed to go eat somewhere or shop at some of these shops around because of who owns them and because of who their family is or friends are.
It's crazy.
Like, that's wild, dude. Why don't you want everybody in your community to succeed?
I've never understood why they don't want progress.
Why aren't you guys helping each other out and like coming together as a community and making this? I mean, people start coming into Falmouth, and like I hear that a lot too. They're like, man, this looks like a really beautiful town. And then they're disappointed they get to Main Street. Like, they get right in the heart of this awesome little city, and they're like, what is this? And then, God forbid, they read the front page of the newspaper. Like, what are you going to hear about a sheep? About a mare smoking having a vape? I mean, this wild. Like, it's a wild little town.
It is a wild little town. It's got a lot going on. And believe it or not, I don't report half of what I hear, and there's reasons for that. Because certain things are just... I had never really understood humanity until I started reporting on some of this stuff. Let's just put it that way. I thought I did, but I didn't. All that we really want is for progress to happen. So if you have anything, either send Tommy a message or I a message, or you can send the Falmouth Whisper homepage a message. And we usually reply pretty quick. We're both vocal. We're easy to get a hold of.
Yeah, we're going, like I said, we're going to try to do this once a week with a little podcast and just talk about things.
Yep.
It'll be much more relaxed. Sometimes we'll have specific things that we'll bring up, or, but mostly it's just going to be just kind of loose wrapping and getting on here and talking about different issues that we got going on, or upcoming issues, or just discussing life.
Or even just cases that we're looking at, or
because
whatever.
there's, and don't get it twisted, like there's going to be some serious talks. There's going to be some serious topics discussed and followed up with, and I mean, it's...
And, I would just like to say, if you don't like an opinion we have, then we also invite that communication. We can talk responsibly and
explain to me why you feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. We want to know why you feel that way, and it may
educate me,
exactly educate us, and it may not be that we're going to agree, but we'll certainly listen, and hopefully you will as well.
Listen, I'm so open-minded and so willing to hear everybody's side of the story and everybody's input and what they think is best. Like, I'm so open-minded that you can't fully convince me one way or the other on most topics.
I'm about the same. But silence speaks, So if you don't answer, I mean, we're vocal. We're easy to get a hold of. If you're not answering anything, any question, then,
Well, what we want to do is we want to hopefully build a link, build a stronger community, build a platform for our community to have a voice on. There's a lot of people that are starting to talk about throwing their hat in the ring for this upcoming election, and a lot of people reach out to me, and I've talked to them, and there's some really good people in this community that are ready to see change, and they want to talk to people, and they're a good majority of them are regular people like us. They just have the 9 to 5, but they want a great community too. And I think more than ever, people are starting to wake up. Yeah, people are seeing what's going on.
That's worldwide.
Well, yeah, but on a local
in
level.
our town, it's a good thing. But the reason they're waking up is because the silence, like you said, like silence speaks.
Yeah, because all the people in this town want is a future. A change where it's easier to live there.
A positive environment. They want to be able to,
somewhere
they don't
for their
want a
kids to be able
government
to go.
they don't want their government to literally go out of their way to make it harder for them to communicate with them.
Well, and they also want a more comfortable life. And it can happen. Falmouth used to be popping, and it could be again. There's no reason for it not to be.
And like I said, I grew up in Burlington. We moved to Burlington in, I think, 87 or something. Mm-hmm. I was a couple years old, a few years old. And I grew up playing in the fields out there, what is now Hanover neighborhood, and, Spurdy Lane and all. That was all fields.
Fast too.
That was all fields. I watched that grow. I've seen it grow. I watched the judicial system, the way it flipped. I watched the power. I literally went to school with the kids of the people that are now the top elected officials that have just completely taken Burlington and Boone County now, because they're at that level at this point, and they're just wringing it, man. They're just trashing it. And I'm telling you, these people, if the leaders in this community in our county, if the elected officials don't step up and take control of this and make it better, somebody's coming. If you don't think they are, go ask Grant County. Because Grant County is getting hit right now, like Boone County got hit. With all the corruption and all the, it's getting hit right now. And it's coming here next. I'm telling you, it's coming here next.
It's been here.
Yeah, but this isn't, listen, that's why I kind of laugh at these people. They're like, this isn't nothing. This isn't nothing. The power that these people have, the nepotism and they're not even power, the influence they have down here, dude, this is so minor. This is still, you can still stop this from happening. This is still little. This is little, buddy. This is little. You start getting, but these bigger families that are coming, it's going to be, Boone County, Grant County, all that stuff, that's what's about to happen. And it's just, it's coming. Nobody's going to stop it. It's coming. It's coming south and it's coming north. And it might be coming from the east if this Maysville stuff goes on. And, you just got to ask yourself, do you want to keep your small community morals and values and still have that when this county takes off and when it becomes, much larger, much more populated? Do you want it to be, do you want Falmouth to be the Kentucky or the Covington of Kenton County? Do you want,
no.
Is that what you want? Because listen, these people that are here now and that have been here for years, that's what they're good with that. They're okay with that because they're still in control. And that's what it'll be. They have their own little, a change has got to be done. It's got to be done soon.
Well, see, they've tried to bring, there was talks at one time about a Walmart possibly, but that was shut down because of YS. There was talks about other different kinds of
and all that,
places.
All of that's coming.
Yeah, well, all of it's coming eventually.
It's coming.
Yeah.
You're looking at a decade.
Now's the
it's
time. Already moving down 27 pretty fast.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's not far away.
Not at all.
You're talking in the next 10 years.
Even in Morning View, they're talking about there's a supposed 75 exit being discussed for Eads Road right after Pioneer 25 going north.
I believe that.
And they're talking about putting a 75 exit there. That's going to immediately propel that area. They've got a 10-year plan for up and down 25 that they want to, do. It is going to affect these smaller communities.
And anybody that's been outside, that's traveled a little bit, knows. You see, these towns are all over the United States. Like I said before, it's not unique to this area. It's all over the United States. Double A, if you don't think they'll make that an actual highway, you've lost your mind. Because they will absolutely...
Well, they've already started with all
Yeah,
the...
that'll be 100% highway.
Yeah.
There won't be no stoplights. There won't be no turns. That's going to be an actual highway that'll have exits. Like 19, that'll be an exit. That won't be a light. None of that's going on. All that stuff's going to go away.
Once it's built up enough and they have that access, oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. There's no stopping it.
I mean, it's not that. Yeah, we just got to be prepared. But anyway, there's a million topics, and we'll touch base with what we can, and I guess we'll wrap it up for now.
All right.
We ain't bowing, we ain't breaking, we're not playing